Well, g'day fishers. Welcome to another Port Stephens Weekly Fishery Report. What can I report this week? Well, it's been cold, it's been wet, it's been windy, and it's been rough. And if you're like me, I am over winter right now. So lucky it's the beginning of August and we've only got a month to go. So hopefully, fingers crossed. But anyway, the good news. Yes, there is a good news. That the weekend, especially, I guess Saturday's looking okay, but Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, look glamour. No wind or very light winds, not much rain, and I think the fishing will be really good. So if you're keen on having a sick day or two, definitely give it a crack. But I think this weekend will be okay. That swell will settle down through Saturday. Sunday looks really good. So take advantage of what's going to be a half decent weekend to get out fishing. Now, what's happening in the bay? Well, there were some people that fished the bay, mainly land-based. If you put a boat in the bay during the week, you were pretty brave because it was pretty windy, sou'westers, and it was pretty rough in the bay. It was pretty cold. It was pretty wet as well. So in the bay, it's mainly been land-based around the breakwalls, so some good bream and luderick off the wall at the anchorage. So that bigger, longer wall's been fishing pretty good. There's a bit of swell crashing in there. That's why the bream and luderick are there, feeding along that rock wall there. Likewise, Nelson Bay breakwall, some good bream, some good luderick down that way, some big silver trevally. The wharf at Little Beach, so the western wharf near the Little Beach Boathouse restaurant, good restaurant that one. There's been some good luderick and bream off that one as well, though the standing room's pretty tight there on the incoming tide. So some good luderick and bream there. And also, if you're going to fish for bream, it'll be really good. We've got some good early morning high tides out towards Tomaree Headland, especially around the old torpedo tubes. When that swell gets big, the bream do get in their numbers, as well as a few drummer as well. So that's what's happening in the bay at the moment. Once it all settles down, I think it'll be good to go and target a winter mulloway. Lots of bream around the rock walls. They'll be stirred up. So this weekend, it will be good to fish inside the bay. There were some squid in Shoal Bay. Look, the water looks pretty clear out there. I went for a drive out there. It looks pretty clear. We'll wait for the swell to settle down to see if any squid are about in Shoal Bay. They did come back in good numbers, so see how we go there. That's a little bit of a wrap-up of the bay at the moment. Now, the beaches and the rocks. Well, the rock fishing will be good. Don't get me wrong. When the swell backs off, the fishing off the rocks, I think, will be really good. There'll be plenty of drum around in the washes. There will be snapper as well. Now, it's the time of year where you look to find snapper off the rocks. The best way, I think, to target them is to fish an unweighted bait in those washes. You don't need to cast in New Zealand. All you have to do, although they've got bigger snapper than us, all you have to do is just fish a light-weighted bait, either a brine pilly, whole garfish, squid, slab bait, small sinker, only run like a size 0, maybe size 1, 4050. Throw that in the wash, especially on first light and last light, and you should find yourself a snapper, especially around those areas like Boulder Bay, Rocky. If you can drive in there, I'm pretty sure the track's still open. Around Boat Harbour, that northern side of Boat Harbour fishes really, really good after a big sea. So too does Fisherman's Bay. All those areas will fish pretty well, and I think come Sunday, that'll be the time to hit a snapper off the rocks. And like I said, drummer and bream will be off the rocks as well, so definitely worth a shot. As for the beaches, well, the beaches are, at the moment, they're a write-off, but it will create some new gutters and some new formation on the beaches, so it's definitely worth going having a look once the swell backs off. I looked at Fingal there the other day. It was pretty big, but the spit looked pretty good. Maybe it's worth a walk up around the northern side there. There was still some big swell getting in there, but it might be worth a look. So too, the Box Beach, the southern corner of Box Beach would be worth a go for breaming there, I reckon. After this big swell, you'll find that those southern protected corners of the beaches, that's where the fish, I think, will start to feed as that swell drops. So definitely be worth a look at the beaches. You'll just have to look for a gutter. I'm not sure if Barooby End will be open this weekend. It's been closed all week, obviously. Check on the National Parks website just to see if that's open. We'll wait and see what happens there. Now, on the offshore last weekend, some really, really good snapper being caught last weekend. Some absolute hooters. Saw one fish of 91 centimetres caught on a soft plastic up at Seals. There was plenty caught around Broughton. There was also plenty caught down off Fingal and all the way down to Boat Harbour. And if last week was any sign when there wasn't much swell, I think this weekend and also next week should be pretty good for snapper. We're leading up to the new moon, which I always like, the darker the moon for snapper. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. It'll definitely be a shallow water bite, I think, after this big swell. Everything's stirred up, those big reds get in there, and it's that time of year. It is snapper time of the year, especially for the bigger fish. So worth a look on those inshore reefs around the washes, especially around Little Island, Big Island. They are two prominent spots at this time of year. If you want to catch a big red in the washes, throw some baits back in there, and also anchor up if you get the right wind. Get a burley trail back into the points there on the washes, especially on the southern end of Big Island, and you will get some good snapper, that is for sure. So it's that time of year for snapper. I think you'll find there'll be some big tail around the washes. They like to feed after a big swell at the moment as well. So it'll also be worth looking further afield on the edge of the shelf there. The week coming up looks like it's going to be a really good week. If you want to get out there and target some bark cod on the edge of the shelf, or even go and target some kings up at Allmark, it is going to be the weather to do that. Now, I did try to have a look at rip charts for obviously some currents and some details. Obviously, with the cloud cover, we're not going to get that at the moment. Hopefully, over the weekend, we can get a bit of a snapshot of what's going on out on the shelf. Now, last weekend, yes, there were some yellowfin caught and seen. Not many, though. But I have to give a mention out to Dave Tucker. He bought one of our bullets off us during the week and got an absolute corker of a 70-kilo yellowfin on the bullet. They had all sorts of lures out there, but it absolutely smashed the bullet. The bullets have been really good this year, despite we haven't had much of a yellowfin bite. Down south, I know they've been nailing those big bluefin, and it's all because obviously they're feeding on sowie gars. Those bullets, when you run them further afield, just look like a sowie running through the water, especially when those fish are shy. If you see yellowfin feeding on sowies, they can be very, very difficult to get a bite out of, but it seems those bullets, those thinner profiles running at long distance, do the trick on those bigger yellowfin. So definitely worth a shot. I know a couple other boys, Zen and Drome, also saw some yellowfin out there, just couldn't get a bite out of them. But like I said, at this stage, I can't get a guarantee of what that water is doing, only because we can't get a chart on rip charts. But we will get some sunshine over the weekend, and we'll have a look there. We'll throw up on our socials. I'll take some screenshots and see what that water is doing with the altimetry and the current. I did see the currents are pushing down and that convergence pushing up. So that's a really good telltale sign that there should be yellowfin still there. So definitely worth a look. Anyway, so that's it. Make the most of this weekend because it looks okay. The swell will drop, I think, into Saturday afternoon, definitely into Sunday. It'll be worth a shot. So enjoy the weekend because I think it's going to be okay.